Whether you're Irish or you just want to pretend that you're Irish for a few days, Dublin is a wonderful city to explore, especially during their St. Patrick's Week festival in March. It's lively and green, and as a Canadian, I can say it was warmer than I expected. There are lots of pubs to visit, of course, and if you're a beer drinker, you need to enjoy a pub or three and try some Guinness and enjoy the Storehouse. But there is so much more to Dublin than the beer and the pubs. I'm going to show you some of my favorite things to do in the city and a peek at the big St. Patrick's Day parade that happens every year on March 17th. Check the description for links to all the highlights. The best introduction to Dublin and its history is to go on a walking tour. I went with Pat Liddy's Walking Tours, and the guide introduced me to so much of the story of the city. I got to see the sights with a few popular spots, including Georgia Street Arcade, but some of the more interesting places especially. Dublin is a historic city. It was first settled by the Gaels, then the Vikings, before the Anglo-Normans invaded in the 12th century. The city grew so quickly in the 17th century that it was one of the second largest in the British Empire, and it claimed independence in 1922. This is the heart of the old city and government with the Powder Tower, Dublin Castle, and it was built on top of a Viking settlement. And on the theme of St. Patrick's and the festival, we stopped at the Chapel Royal with one of the only busts of St. Patrick in the city. It's funny to imagine a city and festival dedicated to St. Patrick without a statue, but there is a cathedral worth visiting. First, though, we stopped at Dublin Garden. Yes, Dublin, which means black pool. It's where the Vikings originally harbored their ships. You'll also find tributes here to important figures from the city, including journalist Veronica Guerin. And if you're hungry, around the corner you can get an epic plate of fish and chips at Leo Burdock, one of the city's oldest chippers with a wall of fame for all the celebrities and bands who've come here for a bite. The St. Patrick's Festival was in full swing when I arrived in the city, and there are events everywhere, including at St. Patrick's Cathedral. The cathedral has a unique tie to the one and only Guinness. It was rebuilt by Benjamin Guinness in the 1860s, and it's the site of one of the original St. Patrick's wells where the bishop baptized people, but it's also just a beautiful space. The Gothic cathedral dates back to 1191, and it went through some tough years with parts closed or collapsing. Benjamin Guinness helped save the church, the catch being that no one really knows how much of the genuine medieval elements remain, since much of the church got Victorian touches thanks to that rebuild. While I was on my tour, I was very lucky to have the chance to take a behind-the-scenes tour up to the iconic stained glass windows, where visitors usually don't get to see. It's really amazing to see the whole cathedral from this spot and get an up-close view of this art in these windows. The windows were made in the 19th century for Guinness's rebuild of the cathedral and then restored in 2004. You can even see some of the unique graffiti here from some of the masons and people who worked on the building. And just to show you, it's quite a squeeze to get up and down here. Around the center of town, we also walked through Dublin's beautiful St. Stephen's Green. And this was where I really noticed how much greener Ireland is from Canada in March. And then we gotta talk about a night out in Dublin. It's so much fun. For a little dinner meets theater, I love the relaxed vibes at the Lansdowne Hotel's The Irish Kitchen Party. We started with a drink at the bar and then had dinner in the dining room and then enjoyed this amazing concert in the theater, including an Irish dancer. Here's a little peek at the show.
If you're a nice audience. So give Roisin a big round of applause.
They put on a fantastic show, and they'll get you involved, and yes, there's a bar in the theater if you want another pint. For a little more history in the city, Trinity College is well worth a tour as well. It's historic, the campus is gorgeous, and there are some standout things that you need to see. You can book a tour through the Trinity website, and you'll join a student who will take you around, tell you stories, maybe even a ghost story, show you some of the iconic buildings, and you can also book a tour for the Book of Kells, but we'll get to that in a minute. The museum building was a big highlight for me on the tour. The outside represents scenes from Aesop's fables, and it's decorated with carvings of Irish flowers.
That really detailed work all over the building. All of these carvings were done by just two men. They were brothers called John and James O'Shea from Cork and the south of Ireland.
Inside, you'll have a chance to see some of the school's collection, which is just remarkable, in a really astonishing building. It's so classic and filled with just incredible architecture. Everything about this tour was fantastic, and then I finished up with a chance to see the Book of Kells. You can't film or take pictures with the Book of Kells, but it is miraculous. And then you'll step into the old library's long room, complete with this work of art, Gaia, representing Earth. And there was also a restoration project happening when I was visiting, so many of the books were out at this time. And the project will be ongoing for a while, but the room and the art alone makes it worth a stop for a few minutes. A note in the Book of Kells is that it's an incredible work of art. It's an illuminated manuscript over 1,200 years old containing the Celtic Gospel in Latin. Leaving the long room, you can head over to the Book of Kells Experience, and it looks at the library's collection with an interpretive look at the history of the book and its art and where it came from. Art from the book actually comes alive in the space, and the long room reimagined combines art and history together.
The colossal flower collection arrived from the Netherlands in 1812, bringing thousands of wonderful maps, pamphlets.
Around the corner from the university, you should make some time to walk to Grafton Street. It's filled with shops, but you can also stop for a pint of coffee or catch a busker. There's lots of shopping in the center of Dublin, and I loved the Powers Court Townhouse Centre, where I picked up a classic Irish hat made in Ireland, and I also looked at gloves made in town by George Horn Limited. If you plan to spend around 4 days in town, I'd recommend walking a few neighborhoods to get a taste of the city and visit some of the must-see sites. That includes at least a pub or two where you can often catch some live music, but one of the best experiences for beer lovers is a visit to the Guinness Storehouse. Guinness and the Guinness Storehouse are two of the most popular things in Ireland, and the storehouse itself is amazing. Guinness's St. James Gate Brewery dates back to 1759, and you can book a tour to learn how they make their beer and learn about the history and everything here. They even have the original lease that you can still see preserved in the floor as you come in. Plus, when you're ready, you can sit and you can have a pint, you can have a bite to eat, sit down at 1837 Bar and Brasserie for a meal, or head to Gravity Bar for epic views of the city. And this site is really the star of everything. It's enormous and it's mind-blowing to think of how much beer has been made here over the years. They even have a little museum where you can go see the classic advertising and memorabilia from Guinness, because that is such an iconic thing that so many people connect with. And then I also had a chance to do a tasting with different Guinness brews before I had a chance to pour my own perfect pint.
You never hesitate, like so, all the way down. Once you see the beer rising up the glass, once it reaches the bottom of that gold harp, we straighten that glass out. Let the beer get to the top of the gold harp.
You can check the Guinness Storehouse website to find out everything that you can book. They offer sessions to pour your own pint, make cocktails, or even have an Irish whiskey tasting. Our group had a chance to pour a pint, which was maybe a bit harder than you might expect, but the results were very tasty. And then we had a special dinner at 1837 Bar and Brasserie, featuring an incredible poet and artist.
14.3 million pints high. Ooh, but that skyline, drink it up. But don't you dare take a sip. Baby, hungry mouthfuls. Mouthful, hearts full, no fools here. Where the fresh rain, sweet-smelling water flows free. Fast-growing vine, hops, candy, malted, unmalted, roasted, all three. A legacy, fermented and cemented in the fabric of society. Local,
The restaurant has
global.
fantastic views across Dublin. We had some wonderful dishes, and then an amazing singer came out to perform for us.
And every sea has carried me down this street through every nook and every sea, every sea.
I had a really wonderful night at this Irish institution. In the morning, I had a full Irish breakfast at my hotel, Bushwells Hotel. It's a quaint and classic Irish hotel in the heart of the city. It's a close walk to almost everything you want to see and do, and the food, the hospitality, everything was amazing. From there, I headed to the Spire of Dublin, which is so huge it has to be seen to be believed. For the art and culture fans, I also visited Hugh Lane Gallery. It's a remarkable art gallery that has an amazing array of works by great Irish artists. It is remarkable, the space, the art, and they have an ever-changing collection of art that's on display. But one of the biggest highlights is Francis Bacon's studio that's been preserved since he died in all of its chaotic glory. Peering into the space, it's really hard to believe how he worked in this, but then you can actually go elsewhere in the gallery and see his work on display, and it is remarkable to see where he worked and what he made. The gallery has impressionistic art. You can also find special exhibitions that change up frequently. There's a cafe where you can also go and have tea, coffee, and scones. It's a wonderful place when you're in town. For a dinner suggestion, I really adored the Church. It's a restaurant inside of a former church with a beautiful bar space. They have live music on the weekends, and if you can get a seat upstairs, they have a really fantastic view that overlooks everything. It's a wonderful spot with a great menu, and of course there are other great Irish ales you should try, not to mention exceptional whiskeys if you want to try some of those. If you're here for St. Patrick's Day, then the last thing I have to show you is the St. Patrick's Day Parade. What an event. I even had the chance to ride on top of the media bus during the parade alongside other press. We sang a few classic Irish songs and got to experience this incredible event up close and personal. But the parade is a blast no matter where you watch it from. It's filled with marching bands, musicians, dancers, floats, and this amazing 20-foot long newt named Alf.
How do you know if you're a pirate? You just do.
But there's so much more to St. Patrick's Day and the St. Patrick's Day Festival than I can show you. Dublin has such a great time. Kaylee Moore was one of the big highlights for sure though, with Irish dancers and music and what felt like the best spirit of the whole event. Everyone was dancing and having such a great time. But I had so much fun in Dublin. It was just the best introduction to Ireland. I went on and saw more, and I'll have more videos on Ireland coming up soon. But I have to recommend that if you have a chance, St. Patrick's Day in Dublin is remarkable. It's amazing. It's such a great trip. And this whole video is really just a peek into some of the things you can do. There is so much more to Dublin than just this. So give it a shot. Consider a trip. It is so worth it. I had such a great time and everyone was so wonderful while I was there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'd love to hear them. Check the description for more links and everything else for my full story on this trip. And if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking, subscribing. It helps me a lot.